Right, there we go. Do the intro.
As you probably do. Get some better quality here. Oh, we could talk about my PC getting set on fire.
Oh, yeah.
Since that's a topic and a half.
Well, since we actually started recording 26 seconds ago, we can actually start with that.
Oh, well, fuck it, we'll just start now.
Yep.
Welcome to Tea Talk, where typical Brits talk typical shit. I am your host, Extreme Storm, joined by my co-host, High School Excalibur.
Bonjour.
And we have a plethora of topics to talk about today. Hopefully everyone's 2 weeks have been good since we've totally been busy.
Yeah, sorry for an episode not being on last week. My bad. Because, you know, once it's pretty much work week, I can't be asked to do shit. Thankfully, when we're recording this, I actually have like 11 days off. So hopefully we can record a few podcast episodes so we can actually start the consistency again. So that's on my bad. My apologies. But of course, we have a plethora of things to talk about today. And of course, we kind of mentioned it a little bit before Jake did his intro. Jake's PC caught fire. Want to tell the tale of that?
So, long story short, if anyone knows a little bit about PCs or just technology in general, probably not a good idea to connect a GPU to your power supply with a Molex cable. Well, unless it's like a very shit GPU and a very shit power supply.
Long story short, pretty much with his old power supply, he had to use a Molex adapter because he didn't have the correct adapters for it. When he bought his new power supply, he didn't need to use the Molex adapter anymore, but it was still used. And because of that, a good power supply plus a Molex connector plus an 8-pin GPU equals
Flame.
Hello, Taliban taxis, how can I help you, please?
equals Taliban taxi time. So, pretty much his PC caught fire. His monitor went black, PC caught fire, and we were about to play Wrath with Tom at that point.
Yeah, Tom got very upset by that.
At that point, he pretty much just got ditched, which was funny as fuck.
It was going to be funny because he came out and said, "Oh, have I just been fucking baited?" There's the wire for reference.
Yep.
It's been fucking destroyed. I'm going to keep this around as a memento for the time that I almost died.
It's so bun, it almost has the legal right to say the N-word and get away with it.
It's 50 Shades of Black and Yellow.
50 Shades Darker is the book in a nutshell for that. But, of course, that was one hell of a situation.
It scared the fuck out of me when that happened.
Yeah.
I saw a nice little glow as my monitor went off. I was like, shit. I honestly thought it was my time. I was ready to believe that I was the light at the end of the tunnel for me.
Like that's it. I'm dead.
That's it. I'm done.
That ass. His computer just went up straight. Just done.
Ironically enough, I would have had an easier time there seeing the light than Brandon, but I guess it's fine.
Moving on swiftly.
Ready for some out of context quotes?
Time to move on swiftly with that one. Hey.
No one knows what I've just referenced to there, and no one will.
Except for anybody within the fan group, including him.
Including Tom. Because Tom has already had a go at me for that, so... It's not like we haven't made jokes. Sorry, I just got to add a lot of fucking... Have a swig. Go on then.
No, I'm not. I'm not a fan of Jack Daniels whiskey up for bells. I wish I had a bottle of bells with me. But holy shit!
I am just lighting some flames on here, and it's not even intentional this time.
Speaking of lighting flames, I've lost where the lid was.
Oh dear.
So this is going to be a pain in the ass. So do you want to casually move on to the next subject of probably one of the biggest failures in football history?
Yeah, your 3070 GPU.
I said football history.
Yeah, but like, you know, we're moving off a GPU topic to another GPU topic.
I mean, we can do, I suppose. But yeah, long story short, around about Thursday night last week, about 4 o'clock in the morning, Within my workplace, there's a thing called a container sensors. So I was doing, which you have to go in the yard, check what containers are there, right if they're empty or full. It's pretty much what I have to do on the daily basis. So it was on Thursday night, I was casually looking through Amazon while I was doing sensors. And of course, that's when I saw the RTX 3070 Ti for how much it cost. And you could pay a certain amount a month for 12 months, no interest. So I would DM Owen during that point and was like, I'm tempted to get it. Do I buy it? He says, yeah, fuck it, do it.
It's Owen. He's going to say
I was
yes,
expecting him to say no. I was expecting to say no. Like, wait until the 4000 series comes out, because that's like until like November, apparently. But no, he's like, oh, do it. No, that's pretty good. It's not too bad overpriced. It's pretty fucking good. I'm just
You're
like,
talking to a man that is legit trying to sell his PC and then also rebuild it.
pretty much. So at that point, I went and bought the RTX 3070. It's within my PC now. I can play Horizon Zero Dawn with no issues. God of War with no issues. I'll probably be able to actually do a recording of Teardown with the Black Hole mod and not have bad frame rates to an extent. So I'm very, very happy with that.
You are going, and this is going to be some future content for us, as we can probably talk about this, but you are going to run MCC with absolutely no issues.
The requirements for the 1070 was fine for MCC anyways.
Yeah, but the 3070, you can have everything at max and probably comfortably playing the game about 200 FPS. Probably close to that.
And record. Because that's the thing, we did a stream of Raft on Saturday, I think. Saturday or Friday?
Friday.
Friday. Either one of the days of the week, at the end of the week. And of course, I was able to record and stream it with 0 encoding overloads.
For 4 hours.
For 4 hours. It pisses me off to see encoding overload a lot. Like, it infuriates me. The fact that I was able to literally once, for a stream, not see encoding overload made me happy, made me smile.
Made me smile.
It made me happy, made me smile. It made me happy. Made me good. Made me good. I didn't want to commit suicide on that one. I was happy. So I was very happy with that.
Very worthwhile purchase for you.
Yes, a very good purchase for me. Because obviously, when it comes to technological upgrades, I've definitely had more questionable purchases, like the Stream Deck. It's definitely one of them. Obviously.
Well, class that as questionable, as you've probably used every reason under the sun.
Yep. And of course, obviously, the Stream Deck, a separate software for soundboards. This microphone, even, I would consider that questionable. And also, I want to upgrade my microphone as well. I want to get this shot at SM7B at one point. That would be very, very nice. And also a green screen. So instead of seeing this, you can see me in fucking Japan.
Narnia.
Yeah, or Narnia. Pretty much. Yeah, I was going to say something else then, but, that probably wouldn't be a good idea. I'll let you know after. But that's something I probably shouldn't mention what my background could be. But, of course, we're going to move swiftly on from my wonderful powerhouse of getting the 1070 Ti to, let's say, something involving more of a computer sense. And that is your experience with editing, pretty much. How's it been going?
Indeed. It's been fun. By the time that this is out, not only would episode 1 and 2 of Football Down be released, but there may also be a Phasma video that I've edited coming out.
Well, that's in progress.
That's currently in progress. It's definitely been started, but it will be in progress, and it's currently underway, especially at the time. But I am absolutely loving it. Other than the couple of experiences where I was like, okay, then this isn't ideal. This isn't. I won't say this isn't what I signed up for, but this isn't what I want. The couple of crashes where I've lost some save progress.
Yeah, that's very true.
On top of some editing techniques that are not really ideal.
Also some things which you didn't use. For example, syncing up footage for both episodes.
I wanted to do it for Phasma, so it's fine.
Well, that's because the footage is already. You only have to worry about one piece of footage which is already synced.
Yeah, but it's working out.
Well, yeah, of course, it's working out.
I've succeeded with the videos so far, and you've liked them, so...
Yeah, I've liked them so far, definitely. Because, my favourite type of video is, meme type of videos, right? Which pretty much has good video recording content within it, plus, post edits of like meme effects and all that shit.
As long as they're well placed, they're very good.
That's my type of haha funny. And of course, I'd say so far for the past 2 videos that he's done a foot lockdown, he's done that pretty well. And of course, normally because this is being uploaded tonight, because we're recording this last minute, so the Phasma video will probably be uploaded Thursday, maybe Friday.
Thursday. I'd say Friday earliest, Saturday list.
Okay, so we'll say Saturday, maybe Sunday will be when it's uploaded. Because normally I would have Suarez edit the video this week. But of course, unfortunately, my financial bearings are a bit very shit. So, Jake's got to do this one this week, which is a bit unfair on him, but he'll be rewarded greatly.
I will be rewarded, and that will be a result of even more videos that I will be editing and more videos that I will be not uploading, but you know, we'll be playing and streaming and that.
I say that's a streaming content for you from my Steve collection. That's for sure. To be fair,
I will be.
I'm surprised you haven't streamed God of War yet.
Me?
Yes.
I've been tempted, but I won't lie. I don't want to do both streaming and editing. Not at this point. I am getting to grips with editing, and so I want to make that my priority. So a stream is very much on the back foot. I know I said I do want to come back to streaming, and I have done a couple of streams since I've said that.
Well, I'm surprised you didn't stream Wrath though. I'm surprised on that one.
I don't know if I'd be able to withhold the frame rate. If I had some more RAM, I probably would, but I want to make sure that my game is still going to be playable while also being streaming to a decent quality.
I mean, that is true, yes.
I don't want to just do it and then spend half of it trying to fix problems. It's just.
I mean, that is true. You do have a point there. You do have.
I want to enjoy it, and I get to enjoy it through you streaming it and through me just being there to partake. End of the day, I am doing the editing, and so I feel like I'm just like contributing enough at that moment.
Yeah.
With that, streams will come, and whenever I feel like it, or when I feel like it's appropriate for me to do so, alongside you, and whenever other people do them. But
well, there's not necessarily a situation where you have to stream like with us. Obviously, you can do your own type of streaming content, like I said, God of War and all that stuff.
God of War will come back probably around about the time that God of War Ragnarok will come out, because that should be a PlayStation thing.
Yeah, that'll be a PlayStation. So, what's your plan with that? Do you think you'll replay God of War before that, and then play Ragnarok?
I'll replay God of War after that. And my hopes is at some point to, depending on where Halo Infinite's at, maybe replay MCC once I get a couple more upgrades into this PC, like a better GPU and a better CPU, maybe a little bit more RAM, and then I'll be streaming.
I feel like a CPU. Actually, no. Storage and RAM would be your next two.
Storage, RAM, and a CPU are the next 3 upgrades for me, because my CPU is a little bit below par at this point.
Yeah, your CPU is a little bit below par, but of course at this point the CPU market should be a bit cheaper now.
So that's where
should be. Doesn't mean I'm actually right, because let's say, because that's the thing, we could go. Let's say we only go up by 1 generation, so the 2700X. Let's say that. Yeah, apparently you can't even buy that anymore. That's how old these generations are. But let's say if you were to go to my CPU, which is the 3700X, right?
Mm-hmm.
That costs 285.
285 quid.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Normally it'd be about. Well, that's the thing. Amazon says it's 330, but they're doing the fake discount bullshit, right?
Right.
So, main price at the moment would be about 285. That'd be about the main price for the 3700X. But of course, you could just go a generation lower. It's really up to you.
It's whatever I can afford at the time when I need the upgrade, really. And today I'm struggling to play Phasma because of my CPU.
Yeah.
And we've been playing a lot of Phasma recently, so.
We have. That's the thing. That's the thing. It's like, yeah, Phasma's fun and all, right? But I feel like if you play something too much, it becomes from good to bad. There's only really a couple of games that you can play so much of before it starts becoming a bit lackluster. It's
the games that are just
craving for an update.
Yeah, the games that are always good are the games that are so consistently updated because they're incredibly chill.
Yeah.
Like a Minecraft and a Raft, they're always being updated. Granted, Raft is a lot longer of an update than Minecraft, but those games are being updated and they are very chill, and it takes a while to even make any progress. And we played 4 hours of Raft on Friday and didn't even start the story yet.
Yeah, that is very true.
For that comes back at some point.
Yeah, I found that on Overclockers, by the way. Ryzen 5600X. 200 quid right now.
I couldn't afford that anyways, but
I know you can afford it now, but that's a future option for you.
I'll probably pin that.
Yeah, I'd definitely say pin that. That'd be a good thing for you next.
But yeah, when it comes to upgrades and streaming, well, for the next year, at the end of the day, my priority is, as I've said, editing, and I've done well at that. Consistency is king right now, and
Yeah.
I believe I've done that. And this next 2 weeks will be a big test for me to see how I can manage a video a week. If I can succeed, maybe it becomes a more consistent thing.
Yeah, if it's that's the thing. If it succeeds, then that's good. If it don't, it's just one of those things of honing the craft.
It honing the craft, putting more things in my portfolio to say, okay, then these are the current videos I've done on for people who want to commission when I'm ready to allow commissions. It's there.
Because that's the thing. If push comes to shove and like you couldn't get the video edited done by this week, for example, then I'd think of something, edit it down myself, and then just that'd be the upload, and then we have a video for next week at least. Right.
It's not.
If it did go to that situation.
The benefit of doing a Phasma video already that I've noticed to a Foot Lockdown episode is that I don't have to worry about cutting out a lot of the crap.
And also two footages to go through as well.
I don't have 2 footages to go through. I only have the one perspective. It's mainly just going to be funny moments anyways.
Yeah.
I don't have to make sure that I have to put this important part in or that important part.
No, it's whatever's funny, pretty much.
It's whatever's funny and whatever's really that important to the session.
Whatever you can make funny, pretty much.
It's like Phasma.
One of the points in the session which I do remember vividly, at that point, it was when we were doing the smaller house where there was no upstairs.
Yeah.
It was you, obviously, you, me, George, Owen, and of course, I pretty much locked them in. Somehow they didn't get hunted. Somehow they didn't die, but at that point, they survived, which is
we were talking on the radio to them as well while they were getting hunted. It's like, do you think Domino's should do fries?
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck was that?
I was just really putting them off, and we gave up. Like, can you shut the fuck up?
But if anything, Domino's should do fries though.
They should.
They should.
I brought up a good point there. I also asked if their asses were clenched, and I believe I was right there.
Yeah. It's like, so, Owen, how tight is your asshole? Can a Tic Tac fit through there? No, it cannot.
How much Lego can you shove up your bum? That's a reference there.
Fuck that. Fuck that. I'll stick with the Tic Tac, thanks. Less painful.
Yeah.
Yeah, now.
Loving editing, loving what I'm doing right now, and it's a great potential career option that will hopefully do well for me, alongside this podcast, of course.
Oh yeah, of course. But of course, we need to be a bit. I need to be a bit more consistent on the podcast front, because I definitely feel like I'm the one that kind of sunk the ship a little bit. But of course,
it needs to be a case of we need to organise not just a day, but a set time to do them.
A recording date and time, really, and hopefully within this week, I can kind of reset the sleeping schedule a little bit, try and focus it up. I plan on buying an alarm clock, which will pretty much hopefully wake me up on a daily basis. Because my plan pretty much is to probably get about 6-7 hours of sleep a day.
Just fair enough for the
so
job that
try to go to sleep as soon as I get home from work. Bang the alarm clock for 2-3 o'clock. And then at that point, then we could like do a podcast recording and all that stuff, depending on what day of the week we do it on. And of course, any other recording sessions that we have in mind.
Yeah, because we've got plenty of them to do. And obviously, you're coming to the end now of your Friday shifts. It's only about 2-3 weeks away. And so Fridays and Saturdays are always there. That's
the thing. I'm not 100% sure what's going to happen with the Fridays. Because, like, within the job I work at, it's been 3 years, right?
Yes.
And of course, normally there's a peak period once a year. And this is a weird situation because this hasn't really happened before. Where Friday shifts have been cancelled. We don't know what the hell's going on. Because obviously, my last Friday shift is on the 22nd of April. That's my last Friday. That is my last Friday. But of course, I don't know if the Fridays that were cancelled, will they come back? I don't know. Because apparently with the Fridays, the ones with just set date, if they don't happen, they don't happen. And I'm hearing other things. There's no confirmations. Nobody knows what the hell's going on.
Hopefully, worst case scenario, it's just a point of, okay, then these Fridays are going to happen, but you can just choose when to book them to do them. It's
Well,
just
that's the thing. They'll tell us when to do them at a later day. They won't really give us much of a choice to when to do. They'll have to give us a good amount of time notice. But of course,
which then that'll give you time to prepare, anyways.
Yeah, but of course, well, I normally play darts on Fridays as well. That should be coming back late April. We're talking maybe Friday the 29th is probably when it's going to come back. So of course,
Connor be doing some darts.
Yes, indeed.
Hopefully he does well, I believe he has been. I haven't.
Well, that's the thing. Within the last season, there was potential chances of us being relegated.
Oh shit!
But of course, there's talks of that may not happen because teams did drop out this season, so we may not get relegated. But even if we do, it'll be easier to build back up, so I wouldn't be too fussed on relegation. It'll probably help me change my mindset a little bit because I get a bit too annoyed when playing darts. Really, get a bit too angry with it sometimes, especially if I don't get the scores I want, which means I've pretty much lost the game before it's even finished.
Yeah, any sport's a mental mind game, really. And
it's a mind game because it's like, yes, you're going against an opponent, but mainly it's your throw versus your brain, right? Because like you're battling your brain at that point. If your scores are shit, you just got to go back and keep going.
He scores are shit, and really the consequences is if they have a higher score.
Well, a lower score at that point because it's first to 0 basically.
Yeah, but my point stands really because I don't know a lot about darts, but it's pretty much a similar concept to most other sports. Same with football. Like if you're mentally not there and you start crying about a potential.
Yeah, if your mental state isn't there, you're not really gonna have a good time. That's
and the consequences
pretty much the case of it.
Is a team losing or a team drawing? That's
your
fault.
There's it's not been too great necessarily.
Nope.
But of course. Nope. Oh yeah, of course. Speaking with darts, we might as well have a little bit of my own discussion here. Within the past 6 weeks, there's been the Darts Cazoo Premier League. Pretty much, the format has changed in comparison to last season, right? Because normally it was like, like for example, best of 6 legs, best of 12 legs, and of course, depending on the amount of legs you've got in the game, depending on how many points you got. But now they've changed it. They've changed it to like a mini tournament bracket. So it's like the best 8 players during the time. So the top 8 seeds pretty much go into like a mini tournament bracket of quarters, semis, and finals. And if you go through the quarterfinals, you're guaranteed 2 points. If you win the semifinals, you're guaranteed 1. And then if you go through the finals, you're guaranteed 3. No, 3? 2, I think. So at that point, it's like the further you go in, the more points you get. But of course, you have to keep playing.
Mm-hmm.
And the points, like the leaderboards bit, have been quite interesting, I'll have to say. Because, like, for a past couple of... I've missed a couple of them, but I just recently caught up with week 6, which happened in Rotterdam. And of course, apparently, within the past 2 sessions before week 6... Michael Van Gerwen pretty much won the mini tournament back to back. So he's in the lead at the moment with 14 points, and he's the world number 3 at the moment. And of course, then second's Pete Wright, third Johnny Clayton, third's Gowan Price, fourth Michael Smith, fifth Gary Anderson, sixth James Wade, and seventh Joe Cullen. I got that wrong completely. Joe Cullen's 8th. But of course, it's been interesting to watch. I understand that obviously darts isn't some people's forte. I understand obviously you don't really watch it that much as well either.
No, it's really just it's a little bit of pool and snooker whenever I can be asked. Like whenever I watch snooker, it's really just Ronnie O'Sullivan or nothing.
Yeah,
it's just how I was raised when it came to watching that, and I do play the occasional snooker game every now and then when I can be asked to go. So it's like what snooker is for me is kind of like what darts is you. You just take it way more,
Take it way more
competitively,
seriously than what.
and it's more of a thing for you. It's just
Yeah.
If I got the chance to play snooker more often, I probably would.
Yeah. But of course, it's very intriguing on how, like, even though this is a new format, like the Darts Premier League has gone very intriguing, right? Because it's literally been like each night has been a different winner, pretty much. So, but like the only person who's been on 2 nights won has been Van Gogh, and that's it. Everybody else had at least 1 or 0. So there's been different winners every time. So it's like, for example, it's like Van Gogh was a better player on 1 week, then Peter Wright was better, then Johnny Clayton. It's just like each week has been a better player than the other. It's been entertaining from what I've been able to watch of it so far. It's been very, very, very good, very, very nice.
Very good, very nice. Hello, chicken nugget.
And of course, this has been like the first time like I've been able to watch like the Premier League and all that stuff and the World Championships, because this is Sky Sports, right? And of course, I actually decided to pay for the Sky Sports package to actually watch the darts. It's not cheap. It's not cheap at all, but it's fun to watch and it's definitely worth the money, in my opinion, anyway.
You get to watch the football as well, don't you?
Yes, I do get to watch football,
So
but
it's a side benefit.
that's not been worth it
No.
in recent times, and this is what's probably going to carry the second half of the podcast, is Manchester United's downfall.
This is I'm a Liverpool fan, and I have spent countless hours talking shit about Man United, whether it was a joke or just a serious discussion about how bad they are right now as a team. This is the fucking all-time low. Recently, when recording this, you got knocked out of the Champions League, and not only that, but other than that, that Spurs game was really just a fluke. If it wasn't for Ronaldo, you probably would have lost that game 2-0. I don't think, out of all my time as a Liverpool fan, I've seen Man United reach such lows.
Man United was 1 point the biggest threat in international football. Now they're one of the biggest jokes of international football.
You can't string 2 wins together to save your life. You can't even win a game at the moment to save your life.
It is bad.
2 seasons in a row. 2 seasons in a row. You've barely, like, one season you got put in the Europa League because you couldn't qualify out of the fucking knockout, not knockouts, the group stages.
We couldn't get out of the group stage.
Then this season you barely got out of the group stage. If it wasn't for Ronaldo, you'd be in the Europa League. Maybe not even there.
Yeah, it's been a horrific season. To the point that I've literally kind of stopped looking at Manchester United's progress. Because, like, at least when Liverpool were at that all-time low and they couldn't win titles for shit, they didn't spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of pounds.
We could
They didn't buy, for example, at that point, when they were in a very bad title drought, they lost Steven Gerrard, they lost Luis Suarez,
Raheem Sterling,
Coutinho, they lost their best players, right? At this situation of us being at an all-time low, we spent hundreds of millions on Paul Pogba, Harry Maguire, Cristiano Ronaldo, Rafael Varane. And at that point, we've also bought players during the time of Memphis Depay. Literally, Di Maria. It's just, we spent hundreds of millions of pounds on players. And the fact that we're at this point of the low is the biggest insult to Manchester. It's the biggest insult to the Premier League. It is an insult to international football. To the point that it has been that disgraceful. After that Champions League match, it was the point that Paul Scholes and Roy Keane was literally giving absolute hell and ripping them a new asshole for how bad they were.
I don't like it when you get people who are part of the club. Like, you know, because at the end of the day...
It's bad when former players of the club are ripping their own club.
They should be doing that anyways, whether you win the game or not. These are the legends of your club that have been there and done that. The problem with them is, and it goes for any other person who is associated with the club that they've played for most of their career,
there's favoritism.
They're going to take favourites, and I hate that.
They're going to take favourites because they're their own club. But
look at Gary Neville. He took a favouritism towards Ole and Maguire for so fucking long. He barely even touched them.
That's the thing. You know it's bad when when legends of your club are literally ripping current state. For example, look at if Liverpool were at the same drop of Man United. Steven Gerrard would be going, that's a bit shite.
He would have been. He probably would have been. He has been doing that as well.
He would have been. That's the thing. It's been one of those situations that if Liverpool were in a dump, Gerrard would probably come in and pretty much just put his size 12 boot up their ass. And I'm not going to lie, I wouldn't be surprised if at this point Roy Keane went into fucking football management just to tear him a new asshole. And also, with how verbally aggressive he could be, he's Irish. He's probably the best for the job.
He wouldn't just be verbally aggressive, he'd be physically aggressive as well. You see what he's like on the field. He's probably just like that as well. That's why he never succeeded. He's effectively the Irish Joey Barton at this point, except he hasn't gotten arrested much.
Because, like, one of the things that pissed me off the most, for example, the Tottenham Hotspur versus Manchester United game, Ronaldo played well. He was the reason why we won. But the reason why we almost lost is because of Harry fucking Maguire. Why do we still play him in defence? Eric Bailly, Phil Jones are literally on reserves, not even the bench.
Lindelof as well.
Lindelof. Twan Zabi's on loan to an entire different league when he could be playing at centre back in comparison to Harry Maguire.
The second time he's been on loan this season as well.
It is a disgrace that Harry Maguire is a part of Manchester United, let alone wearing the captain's fucking armband. To former captains who have worn that captain's armband, including, because didn't Wayne Rooney wear the band at one point? I swear he did. He did. Wayne Rooney wore.
2015, I think it was.
Obviously, there's been former people who have worn the captain's armband. Wayne Rooney being one of them, one of my favourite players of all time. And the fact that legends like him and so many others, like even just not even people who have been captains, defenders, Rio Ferdinand, Vidic, fucking even goalkeepers like Van der Sar, Schmeichel, their legacy is pretty much being disgraced because of Harry Maguire being in that defence.
It's just a really shit situation. You paid 80 mil. When Liverpool paid 75 mil for Van Dijk, everyone took the piss, but compared to Van Dijk is a Rolls Royce of a defender. Even when he had a bit of dip in form, he was still one of the better.
Harry Maguire is my adrenal gland, and that's fucking dead.
A fucking pain at this point.
Harry Maguire's efficiency on defending is like my adrenal gland. It's fucking dead.
It doesn't exist. He's got on a header, but everything else is usable.
It needs medication to survive. And even at that point, I don't think pills will help Harry Maguire. It would help United, though, in all honesty.
It's just so shit. The fact that he's a captain as well is disgraceful. And, like, I'm a Liverpool fan. When Gerrard left and left Henderson as the backup as he drinks, and so when Henderson got the captaincy after Gerrard, granted, Henderson was back then a fucking not a great player. He really wasn't. And
he recovered.
He recovered. He's got titles under his belt now.
He's not Harry fucking Maguire.
Gerrard knew the player that Henderson would be. Listen, Henderson's not going to be Ed Gerrard. Never has been, never will be. Gerrard's one of the best players the Prem has ever seen, and I doubt that we'll ever get many players to really top
5 English footballers,
without a doubt. But
top 5 English footballers.
But I feel like Henderson
could be
a captain.
Henderson could be
one of the better captains that the Prem's ever seen.
He's been one of the best. He's been one of the better England captains during the Premier League.
The fact that he's not a captain of Harry Kane is just shambolic. I don't know how he's not. Henderson's won a Premier League, a Champions League, and 3 other titles.
Yeah.
What has Harry Kane won?
Carabao Cup, FA Cup.
No, not FA Cup.
Not FA Cup.
No, he's Carabao Cup, Club World Cup, Super Cup, Champions League, Premier League. And we're still in contention for 3 more titles this season.
Still, more than Harry Maguire. More than Harry bloody Maguire.
But, like, if we look at the overall team, though, they're bad. Like, you've got Alanga, Ronaldo, Sancho. They're all good players on that day.
Yeah.
Bruno has been fucking missing since about November.
Bruno has been hit and miss. He has been hit and miss within recent times. And even some people have said, Bruno has been a bit lackluster.
But Delors is arguably one of the only good defenders in your team right now, other than Varane and maybe Tellers at a push.
Pretty much our only decent... That's the thing. Pretty much the only reason why our defence is dog shit at the moment is literally because of Harry Maguire.
And the lack of
You take out Harry Maguire and replace him for Tuanzebe, Phil Jones, Bailey. Literally, it looks like a solid defence. Tellers on the left. He's good at his defence capabilities. He can he can do free kicks, and he can have a pretty good fucking volley on him. Centre backs of Bailly slash Varane slash Jones and all that stuff. A solid lineup. Varane's your pace and your bulk. He lacks in balance, but that's when Tuanzebe slash the other defenders I mentioned would kind of help counteract his flaws. And of course, your right back, Delors, obviously he's not been given much game time in comparison to Wan-Bissaka, but guess what? Within recent games, he's been better than Wan-Bissaka.
Delors, it's just you've had to bring back what is essentially a reject, and he's done a better job than the guy you paid 50 mil for.
Pretty much. He has done better, and he was one of United's rejects. And of course, that is saying something when the defence are that fucking appalling. That situation's not bad if you have that centre mids.
I won't lie. If this keeps up, I will be expecting to see you mid-table next season.
I expect relegation.
We all had the jokes of Arsenal when they were getting when for the last 2 seasons running they were literally within a relegation fight.
If we do not bin off Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, Wan-Bissaka, Paul Pogba, Fred, McTominay, Lingard because he doesn't get played much. If we do not bin off at least those 7 players within next season and get replacements, we will be relegated.
That's just so bad.
Next season is not going to be a situation, will we qualify for the Champions League? It's, will we get out of relegation zone?
It's so bad. When we look at this next year, and if you finish mid-table, everyone's going to be looking like, how is a team like that going to be finished mid-table? And then I'm sure there'll be comparisons, it's okay, because Liverpool had this low before they started winning shit. No,
they didn't put they've not put in like £1 billion into players within the past 5 years.
Yeah, you can't compare.
You can't compare it to Liverpool.
We had Ricky Lambert and fucking Barini and Balotelli up front. We paid no more than 30 mil for any of them.
You didn't have good money during that time to get players for the replacements. It was when it was 2015 when you started getting good money coming in to get ideal replacements.
It's when Klopp came in, did we really understand what we were doing? Because the problem with Brendan Rodgers at the time is that he kind of fucked his relationship up with Michael Edwards, our transfer negotiator, the guy, the magic guy that we've loved for so long at Liverpool.
Yeah.
Oh, you break your relationship up with him, that's how you fuck up. And that's why we signed Benteke and fucking Bobby Firmino in the same summer. Bobby Firmino's worked out, Benteke didn't. And it's clear to see who was the mastermind of that. And when Klopp came in, he made it a point to make a good relationship with everyone. Look how well that worked out. The owners listened to him, granted not as much as probably we'd like to listen to, but they have.
But they've listened to the point
that the Glazers don't listen. They don't know anything about football.
They don't.
Your board is clueless. And you've got a manager who is really a sporting director who's playing manager until either Pochettino or Eric Ten Hag comes in.
Please be Ten Hag. Don't be Pochettino. He's not won a title within the past decade. He's bottling it for PSG. And guess what? PSG are in a one-club league.
His fault.
I'm sorry, because at this moment in time, PSG are in a similar situation to Manchester United, but they're in a one-club league. You literally have Lionel Messi, Kylian Mbappe, Neymar Jr. Then you literally have decent centre mids. You have defensive Marquinhos, Sergio Ramos, Kimpembe. Your left back being Juan Bernat. And you have decent players. You bought Donnarumma over the summer, and you got knocked out the last 16.
I don't think Pochettino's the major problem. I'm not going to go out and say he's not a problem, as I don't think he's a good enough manager for a team like PSG anyways, but The problem with PSG right now is that it's a group of players, similar to Man United. It's a group of players. There's no teamwork.
They
You've
don't
got a
get
couple.
along.
They do not get along. You cannot just throw a Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe up front and hope that they'll do well, especially when they're not. Messi's got the excuse. Messi's the talent, right? When
And
Messi doesn't track back, it's because he knows he's analyzing. I give Messi that excuse, but that doesn't mean he should be avoiding every track back.
the one thing which I'm like, because this thing, there's been obviously rumors going about that Messi could be going back to Barcelona next season.
Good move for him.
I don't blame him. PSG's not been good for him. PSG was pretty much Ronaldo and Messi have had mistake moves this season. Messi moving to PSG was a mistake, not exactly his choice. Ronaldo moving to United was his choice, but at the end of the day, could have went to anywhere better.
No, I think the problem with Ronaldo is that because of his wage, it would either have been the only other two clubs that he would have gone to was a City and was a PSG. Now, granted, with City, he probably would have won the league because if they had him up front, I don't think Liverpool would have had a chance.
That's the thing. That's the thing. When it comes to Ronaldo's legacy, I don't think he ever would have went to City anyways. Because
he's got too much respect.
The transfer rumours that happened during the time were completely utter bollocks. Even Guardiola said we had no interest in buying Ronaldo during the time. He had no interest. He had more interest in signing Messi during that season, during that point, than what?
If they didn't spend the money on Grealish, Messi would have come in.
Yeah, 100%. But of course...
Just with Ronaldo's money, I don't see a world where he would have gone to any other club. Maybe Madrid if they wanted him back, but with the way that Benzema's been right now, I don't think they would have wanted him back.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. I could have seen... That's the thing. I don't think Ronaldo wanted to go back to Madrid. I felt like he wanted something... He pretty much wanted something different after Juventus.
Maybe he goes to Bayern Munich. Imagine a Ronaldo Lewandowski up front for... Oof, that would be fucking hell. That would be... I think they would win the
Lewandowski and Sue.
Oof.
Imagine it. Powerhouse Lewandowski, Powerhouse Sue, and then fucking comedian mastermind Thomas Muller in the middle.
Imagine how good that would have been.
That would have been a very intriguing season for Bayern Munich.
We've been denied this.
We have been denied this.
Then again, we've been denied a Messi and Ronaldo combo up front for one last season, but that's never going to happen now.
And of course, United have been rejected the title for the past 5 years as well. But
it's always that's more down to the
what can you do?
There.
What can you do? That's the thing. The problem with United players is their egos are too fucking big and need to be put in line. Because Pogba's contract extension, he said he wants more money than Ronaldo. Pogba's not worth that money. So, bin him off. Fucking go to the Chinese Super League if you want that much fucking money.
Yeah, the English players as well. A lot of them are throwing fits, but their egos are so fucking fragile.
Egos are too fucking high. Especially, like I said before, Maguire's ego, too high. I feel like every England player which had main interactions with the Euros, their egos quadrupled in size because they reached the finals.
It's honestly, it's just not it. But their egos are fragile. Their egos are the equivalent of when a young adult gets in bed with an elder female who knows what it's like to have
Pretty
sex.
much.
It's fragile because you are not ready to get in bed and do the best move that you've got just for them to go out and say, "What the fuck
was that it?"
Yeah, was that it?
Was that it? Just pretty much Italy versus England. Was that it?
You're gonna break. That's gonna break your fucking ego right there and then. You're not gonna want to have sex again, and
you're gonna want to pop a few pills after that. That's how bad it would fucking be.
It's where Ronaldo, Ronaldo comes in and absolutely, he knows what he's doing. He's been there, done that, and you are listening to him. And when he actually gives you the criticism that you deserve to listen to, because
they get mad.
They get mad and want to get him out.
That's just the thing. That's just the thing that makes no sense to me, right? Because, you look at all the England players which are involved in the United squads, and you can see their ego is too big. Mainly, Wan-Bissaka, Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, and of course, that's the thing. I'm not going to mention Rashford in that point, because yes, Rashford has gained popularity over the years, because he's pretty much carrying the legacy of number 10, right? But of course, I feel like, because Rashford's been given a lot of grief within the past couple of years, especially during the Euro final, especially during the last season,
couple of weeks as well,
and especially during the last couple of weeks. And I feel like Rashford, out of all the players on that team, deserves some slack. Like, cut him some slack.
Because I don't think he deserves as much of the hit that he gets.
No, he doesn't. Because
as an outsider,
if it wasn't for Rashford last season, we wouldn't have gotten second. If it wasn't Rashford trying everything he can during the Euros, we probably wouldn't got as far.
Rashford didn't do much during the Euros.
Yeah, but with the opportunities that he got, he did well with them.
Right.
Because the fact that Rashford was barely I'll put it this way. The fact that for attacking fronts, that Sterling and Kane were used more than what Rashford was, I consider it a little bit of an insult. And of course, with Rashford being out for 2 months because he had to have surgery, because he had back injuries, leg injuries, the whole lot, and still continued to play because he had respect for the badge and respect for the club. But also, he didn't want to miss out on the Euros either. Like, he deserves more respect than what he's been given. It's like the curse of the number 10 shirt for United. Whoever wears number 10 doesn't get the respect they deserve, but work their fucking asses off.
Yeah, like, listen, Rashford has got, like, he's definitely got the enthusiasm and, like, the want. And I get that, but it's clear to see that he's just not there at the moment.
He's not.
Like, listen, you can, like, it's all good doing what he's doing out there in the real world. You know, the money that he's raised for kids and everything else he's doing.
Rashford's mental state is not there when it comes to football.
Like, he needs a break. He needs to be told that he just needs to stop playing for a while, because at this rate, he's going to either get a season-long injury that will fuck him, or he's going to be just that shit for the rest of his career. Because then he doesn't have... Listen, he's been idolised by a lot of Man United fans since he started having his glow-up. And for some Man United fans, he's been given a lot of shit.
Yeah.
But it's fair to say that a good portion of the Man United fans have idolised him since he is your glowing, like, your youthful player for the last couple of seasons, and he's shown you the light of maybe winning stuff.
Rashford's one of our United youth players that's actually turned out well. Kind of like how Alanga's turning out well for youth as well.
The problem is, with Rashford, is that this is the peak of the shit that he's going to get. And because he was your golden boy for a good while, and still is to an extent, and he's not going to get as much support from the club when it comes to how he's mentally doing, because he's the golden boy, a lot of people are going to think, well, he doesn't need it.
Rashford's been over-pushed.
It's like, he's gone beyond what his mental capacity can have at this point. I'm not saying...
He's been over-pushed for how young he is.
Yeah,
because he's 24 now. He's 24 now. He's been put so much of the pressure of him being in a Euro final. Obviously, because that only happens every 4 years, and because the Euros was last year, so he's 23 years of age.
Mm-hmm.
For him to be up that point and then be put on penalties and then to get that much abuse is not deserved. It's not deserved at all. It's like the amount of grief he's gone through. It's unfair. Same with Sancho, same with Saka. They've been given an unnecessary amount of harassment.
The same with Trent to an extent. Because
same with Trent as well. Pretty much any English black player has been given way too much shit because of what happened during the Euros.
Well, Trent wasn't there for the Euros, but like especially during the last season when a lot of injuries were happening, Trent did get a lot of shit because he wasn't there for a part of it. Even though towards the end of it, he did turn up quite a bit.
He did turn up, but of course he got injured during those points.
Yeah, he got injured and he missed the Euros, which is suck. But like as of right now, when it comes to players like Rashford, and this may happen to Alanga as well, depending on how this club is going to get run in the future.
Yeah,
Man United as an entity and as a club have failed Rashford.
Yeah,
you failed them because you haven't done what is needed for a player like him, who is incredibly young and still learning how the world works. A player like Ronaldo doesn't give a shit if someone goes up to him and calls him shit. It's Ronaldo. He's been there, done that. He knows he's one of the greats.
It's like when during, I think it was like the Ballon d'Or presentation or something like that, where it was Rio Ferdinand and Ronaldo, where he said, who's the best player? They asked Ronaldo and Rio, who's the best player in the world? Rio said Maradona. When Ronaldo was asked that question, he said himself and proved it. He had the mindset of, I'm going to be the best player in the world, and I'm going to fucking prove it. And he has.
Like, he's proved it. Like, listen, like when you go up to Trent and ask who's the best fullback to ever do it, he's gonna say someone like Bobby Carlos, because he did say that. Like, he's gonna say someone like a Bobby Carlos, a Danny Alves, one of those types of people. Because he's not gonna go out and say himself. Don't get me wrong, he's
That's the
an
thing. Is like,
incredible right back.
that's the thing, to have that much confidence and to back it up, we don't see that too much nowadays. It's like when Ronaldo was asked who the best player in the world was when he was in his 20s, he said himself, and he proved it because he had the dedication and the effort. None of the other Manchester United players have that much dedication and effort.
No, because they don't care. They're there for a paycheck.
Yeah, pretty much.
But then the youths are just there for the experience. But they're not. They haven't fully built themselves up mentally to where they can take the heat.
No.
If Harvey Elliott, I can't believe. Let's say during this not on a Forest game, he wasn't on his best. I'll admit that, but he wasn't bad. If Rashford did exactly what he did, he would have been absolutely shat on, and the club would have done nothing.
He would have been fully abused. N-word this, N-word this, kill yourself this, off yourself that. That's what would have happened if it was Rashford.
Yeah, but like the club wouldn't have done anything about it as well. They wouldn't have condoned it. Whereas if Liverpool did that, I would have absolutely disowned my club there and then. Yeah. But when it happens to Trent, they didn't like it. Everyone else in the club supported him about it. Whereas Man United players probably will have like, oh, this shouldn't happen, and then that'll be the tweet.
That'll be it. When at that point it should be an absolute outrage to the point that even some play like, I'll put it this way: within the past recent couple of seasons of Manchester United, I'm not proud of being a United supporter anymore. Not just because of the players and how shit we've performed, but because of the fans which are evolved around that as well. And the fact that some of the players within the club have been pretty much been evidently caught for being abusers of their power. It's just not been ideal. It's just made me disgraced of me being a United supporter. I've not been happy about it. I'm not proud of being a United supporter anymore. If we're talking about the 2000-2010 era, I'd be more than happy to be proud. But for the past 12 years, I'll say the past 9 years of Manchester United after Fergie went, has been nothing but a disgrace.
Yeah, I feel like that. I feel like every fan group has got those sets of fans that will let them down. And that's the only reason why I wouldn't be proud to be a fan. But at the end of the day, if they're doing that, they're not a fan of that club. They're just pricks.
The problem is that with Manchester United, it's 99% of the base of the supporters. It's the 1% which actually give a shit about the club and not egomaniacs. The 99% of the Manchester United clubs, and I do not give a shit who hears this, are egomaniacs. And
that's the problem with
hypocritical and entitled.
Man United at this point are probably the most well-known club. It's no secret. And you arguably have the biggest fan base, especially recently. Not as much because I've known a couple of Americans who have been there. And it was like
Manchester United is pretty much one of the biggest legacies in the world,
and they're fucking it right now.
And they're killing it.
Bro, I'm a Liverpool fan. I should be afraid to go to Old Trafford every season. I should be afraid. But the last 2-3 seasons, I'm not. I'm thinking this is a fucking trip for 3-point lane. 5-0 win. And it wasn't even 15 minutes in. At Old Trafford. If Ferguson did that, he would have gotten the sack.
If we were retitled 3-point lane, I would have to be done with football altogether. Because, as we know, Tottenham Hotspur, 3-point lane. But now they're no longer becoming 3-point lane.
They're doing well.
If we officially become titled, if other players call United 3-point lane, I could not support Manchester United anymore, and I'll have to vote for a different club.
It's to that point. It's legit to that fucking point.
At that point, I would go from a red to a blue shirt, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah,
I was probably oil rig.
It's fucking shambolic
it's just
at
bad.
this point. How on earth, right, are you, as arguably the biggest club in the world, are going to miss out on someone like Antonio Conte, whereas Spurs are going to get him?
Yep.
It's Spurs. They haven't done fuck all in about 20 years.
And they got probably one of the best managers in our time. We let that slip because we let somebody like Ole take the wheel for a bit too long.
It's not just Conte as well. You missed out on Tuchel, Allegri, Conte a second time. You missed out on Klopp because he was one of the people that you wanted to go get.
Well, that's the thing. During the time before Klopp went to Liverpool, who did we have at that point? Was it Louis van Gaal?
It was Van Gaal, yeah, because Moyes was gone at that point.
Yeah, it was Louis van Gaal, which obviously, at that point, he used to be the manager for Bayern Munich. Was it Bayern Munich? It was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because at that point, he was a good manager. He just, obviously, with the players, it was just poorly utilised.
Yeah, you've had good managers. Like, bro, you had Jose Mourinho. Now, granted, it's Mourinho, so he's not at his peak anymore, but
Mourinho. The fact, he literally said, Rashford shouldn't play striker, Luke Shaw shouldn't be our left back, Harry Maguire shouldn't be bought, and Wan-Bissaka's a fucking disgrace. He was right about all four.
He knew about this shit, and they let him go.
And
if
they sacked him for
what he wanted, this wouldn't be a problem. He didn't want Pogba there, and yet he's still there.
And milking our money dry.
Listen, Mourinho's not doing the world's gift at Roma, but he's at least getting what he wants there, and he's making results out of it. He's made Tammy Abraham relevant again.
He's made Abraham look good and potentially be called up to the international squad.
Whereas Rashford's not getting a lock in. And Rashford's not even playing. Luke Shaw shouldn't even be anywhere near that team. Unfortunately, I don't really think we've got a better. Go get Ben Chilwell. Where's he at? Nah. He could do something. He can attack as well. Oh, English centre backs. Give Joe Gomez a chance. I mean, granted, I wouldn't as a Liverpool fan. Like, I don't think he did amazing at right back today or last night.
But it's like we just need better players to rock out right now, and the players we have are not ideal at all.
You got a set of players that just don't want to be there.
Yeah, a set of players who don't want to be there. A set of players who are just milking United's money. Yeah, a set of players who are just
who's not a manager.
A manager who's not even a manager, who didn't even really want to be manager. He wanted a role within United. He just didn't want a managerial role.
You've got a board that doesn't know fuck all, and owners that are milking the club for billions.
Yep.
And it's so sad because
on the Glaciers American owners. Yes. Yeah, they are. They're American. Yeah, of course it's going down the shit. They don't know fuck all about football.
It's honestly sad.
They know fuck all about football because they're Americans. Americans know jack shit about football.
It's sad though, because your bench is worth more than most of Liverpool's first XI.
Yep.
Like, we paid 20 mil for Thiago. You paid what, like more than that for Fred? That's insane. We a Thiago for 20 mil compared to what, like the 30-40 mil you paid for Fred.
No, it's a fucking disgrace.
Like you paid what, like you paid 80 mil for Maguire, 75 mil for Van Dijk. Joel Matip was a free.
Joel Matip was a free. Pogba was 80 mil.
Yeah, for the 80 mil that you paid for Pogba, we paid 50 for Fabinho.
And just Pogba wasn't worth it at all.
It's insane. How much did you pay for Telles and Luke Shaw?
Well, Luke Shaw's been in the club anyway. Luke Shaw's been in the club for you.
How much for Telles? What, 30 mil? 25 mil?
Alex Telles' transfer costs. He cost 13 mil.
We paid half that for Robertson.
You paid 7 mil for Robertson.
Yeah.
Nah.
I mean, and our second, I would argue this point, and I would say this confidently. Kostas Tsimikas, our second choice left back, is better than Telles. It's a fair statement because Kostas does play it and he does ball out. I'm not shitting at Telles whatsoever because I really feel like he's been one of the players that have actually performed for when he's been given the chance for Man United.
Yeah.
However, I just don't think he's that. I'm not saying he won't be, but that's how far down this club's at. I would play a Nat Phillips and a Reece Williams in defence over fucking Maguire and maybe like a Lindelof. They got thrown in the deep end in an injury-ridden Liverpool season and still came third.
Yep.
Not to mention Nat Phillips did
and
also...
And we had our quote-unquote best XI, and we got second last season.
Second is Thomas. You were very, very lucky to get that second. Anyways, if Liverpool had their team and if Chelsea actually balled out for the entire season, you'd be lucky to get fourth.
Well, last season Chelsea were a bit more focused on the Champions League.
They were focused on the Champions League, but they didn't turn up until halfway through anyway, because that was when Lampard got sacked. Yeah. If Lampard got the sack at the beginning of that season and then Tuchel came in then, Chelsea would have been so much better.
Oh yeah, guaranteed. But of course, that's just United at their despicable form at this point. It's an insult. And hopefully...
It's an insult to football in general.
It is. It is an insult to national football.
The side that we've hated for about 15 years at least.
It's now a laughing stock.
It's now Banter FC. We can't call Arsenal at the moment Banter FC because they're performing.
They're performing, and all they had to do was get rid of Aubameyang.
Yeah.
All they had to do was bin him off to Barcelona.
Ironically, Aubameyang's still performing.
Yeah. All they had to do was bin off Aubameyang to Barcelona for him to play well and for Arsenal to play well. If that's all they had to do, can we bin off Maguire and actually start getting top four? If all they had to do was bin off, pretty much remove somebody of the captain's armband and bin him off to a different club, why can't we just do that with Maguire? We may actually achieve top four.
It's honestly bizarre. This was supposed to be the season that you compete for a title. But you blew the title challenge before November. If Liverpool did that in the state that we're in right now, I'd be wanting Klopp.
Klopp would be fired.
Don't get me wrong. I would put every bit of faith in Klopp, and I have done. There have been points where he's almost fucked it, and I probably would have wanted him out. But we've put the faith in him because he's a good manager. He knows what it's like to beat the top team. He did that with Dortmund against Bayern Munich, and he's doing it again against Man City.
Pretty much.
And yet Man United are struggling to get, granted, Rangnick was an inspiration for Klopp, granted, but this is a clear point of the student's better than the master at this point.
But it's also the situation that, obviously the players listen to the manager.
Yeah, Klopp gave them a reason to believe.
The players, Liverpool players listen to Klopp. None of the players listen to Rangnick.
No. Not at all.
None of the players are listening to Rangnick.
You need someone like Erik ten Hag. You get him in, you have a chance next season. If you don't, I will be expecting mid-table for Man United, and that's at the best.
I expect relegation.
Maybe relegation is what you need.
I expect relegation next season, in all honesty. I dead expect that. Here's how I expect next season to go. To the fact that a point that we get bad against teams like Newcastle, end up relegated into the Championship.
But Newcastle are becoming good now, actually.
Yeah.
Newcastle, after a couple of signings and getting Eddie Howe.
They had to buy 3 players on the cheap. And they're owned by Saudi.
They've got Chris Wood up front, Bruno Guimaraes, as they signed Dan Burn from Brighton.
They signed Trippier from...
Trippier. They're getting this influence in. And Man United failed to sign Trippier recently.
And Newcastle was able to scoop him up.
And Newcastle have a better manager than you right now as well. Eddie Howe.
Yep.
If Liverpool didn't have Klopp, listen, Eddie Howe's a very good manager. I probably wouldn't go for Eddie Howe as a Man United manager because the expectations are so unrealistic. But for a Newcastle, he's perfect. If Man United lowered their standards, and they won't because of
no, of course not.
Because of what they have right now. Oh, if they lowered their standards, Eddie Howe would be a perfect fit. But no. You have to go for legit. Last season, it was a down or nothing, and you fucked that. And it's as a football fan, it's sad to see. It's not even funny as a Liverpool fan no more.
No,
I can't take the piss. Well, I can, but it's an empty take the piss out because it's been there, done that. I can enjoy Liverpool winning without having to know that Man United are losing because it's been going on for so long now.
Pretty much.
Liverpool are at their peak and Man United are arguably at their worst.
No, not arguably. They are. They are at their worst.
you are a mid-table spot away from really being at the worst. If you get a mid-table spot next season, doom, expect the worst. I expect the Glaciers.
We'll get mid-table spot this season. Even if Chelsea lose 20 points because of the shit going on right now, we will still go mid-table. We will still lose to Chelsea in the Premier League battle. We will be mid-table this season.
Chelsea are turning up and they don't even have on us, so...
Yeah. It's just ridiculous. But of course, it's been an hour and 5 minutes.
So we've got to call it there.
Yeah, I want to call it that. I'm fed up with talking about United at this point. I feel like we gave them too much time as it is.
Yep.
But of course, that is going to be it for this episode of Tea Talk. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to leave a like. If you are new, hit the follow button if you're on Spotify. And subscribe if you're on YouTube. And of course, if you've not watched any of the previous episodes, I advise watching them. They've been good episodes.
They're there on YouTube and Spotify.
Yep. So of course, go check this out. Thanks so much for watching this. It's a goodbye from me and a goodbye from my co-host.
Goodbye.
And enjoy your brew.
Peace.